Hi, I'm Greg Aronowitz from Barnyard Effects, and this is What's in My Barn. Happy New Year! I thought I'd start 2015 off with something epic. With all of the buzz going on about Jurassic World coming out this summer, I thought we'd take a look back at the original Jurassic Park. As Steven Spielberg was developing the story for the original Jurassic Park, he wanted to start creating the visuals because at this point, no one really knew what those dinosaurs would look like for that movie series. So he brought in a super talented sculptor named Tim Lawrence, and they sat down together with a lump of clay and created this maquette of the head of the T-Rex. So this was the very first piece of artwork and the very first representation of a T-Rex for Jurassic Park. One of the interesting things about it was at this time, during this meeting, Steven was very focused on Michael Crichton's idea that they were taking the DNA from the T-Rex that they found in the mosquito and filling in the gaps with a modern frog. So he wanted the T-Rex to have a lot of features and qualities of a frog, like a fusion of the two. And this first maquette represented that. This is the second maquette done from that same meeting, and you can see it's still following the structure of the frog skull, but now they were adding more wrinkles and there used to be spines on this. This is actually the original clay. There were never any molds made on these or anything. They were just quick sketches so that Steven can start seeing what the dinosaurs would look like. And he would push the clay around along with Tim, so his fingerprints are on here. And once these took form and became more final, Steven decided that he wanted to lose the frog element and just go straight for a T-Rex. An artist named Henry Mayo was brought in to start figuring out what the more traditional T-Rex would look like without the frog elements. And he started creating these views of heads that would ultimately be blown up on a Xerox to larger scale so that Steven can see what looking at the face of a T-Rex would be in real life if it was 4 foot wide or 7 foot wide. And that was based on these drawings. So the dinosaur still kind of had soft, round edges, and they wanted to make them a little scarier. So Tom Hester was brought in to start making the T-Rex look a little more ominous. So these are Polaroids of his maquette. These are from 1991, so they're 23 years old, and just showing various views of his version. So this was before Stan Winston came in, and they were still trying to decide if this thing would be all stop motion or if it would be a giant puppet. The concept of using computer graphics wasn't even a consideration this early on in production, but the puppet thing was in full force. So this is a drawing of one of the concepts of how a full-size puppet would work. And as you can see, it's a raised floor on the stage, and the actor would be on there and the dinosaur would be on there. The dinosaur would be supported from a pipe on a track up above. There would be a performer inside of the dinosaur, and there would be tracks under his feet where other puppeteers would be, and they would create a walk cycle, and the puppeteer inside would move the T-Rex's head. This did not happen. Here's another version, which is ultimately closer to what the full-size T-Rex was. Here, the dinosaur is all mechanical and hooked to a pipe that was able to pivot to create him walking. There were puppeteers again underneath moving the feet, but that's not how the final version actually ended up going, but this was a step closer. So this whole process went through many, many stages to get to the dinosaurs that we ultimately saw. And of course, ultimately, they were a combination of actual full-size animatronic puppets and the most amazing CG work ever done. On a movie like Jurassic Park, where there are so many unknowns as you go into filming, where you're dealing with actors that have to look at dinosaurs that aren't actually really there, or when you're shooting big epic scenes that involve puppets that have to be like precisely controlled, a director like Steven Spielberg will go in and storyboard every frame so that nothing is left to chance. Here is one of the binders of original Jurassic Park Storyboards. And this binder, which is pretty thick, is only like 3 scenes of the movie. So there's, 60 some odd scenes in the movie. You can imagine the stack of storyboards that would take. And these are the final boards. So there was also scenes that never got filmed and changes of shots. So there was, for every, binder of boards that were actually used, there's probably 10 of these that you will never see. But this particular one has some cool stuff, like the attack on the SUV, where the kids are inside and the T-Rex decides he wants to see what they taste like. So that's just a sample of the stuff that I have from the original Jurassic Park. Stay tuned for more from Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, and I hope you guys are as excited to see Jurassic World as I am. Let me know in the comments below, and if there's anything else you want to see from any other movie or television show that does or does not possibly involve dinosaurs, let me know, because I'm sure I have some in my barn.